Hi, everyone. Welcome for joining us. So today is the unveiling that I'm very proud of, the National Unemployment Clock. It's the first one in Canada. My name is Diane Pepe, and I work for the Canadian Telecommunications Workers Union, the TWU. I realize that you're all anxiously waiting to see this clock. You want to know where it is. As soon as the press conference is over and we get a few brief words from our guests, who are today the TWU VP John Carpenter, and also we have our special guest, NDP International Trade Critic Peter Julian, MP of Burnaby New Westminster, behind me, and Mr. Hassan Youssouf, Secretary-Treasurer of the Canadian Labour Congress. So we will then take you to the clock, which will be located behind the main gate on Wellington Avenue. The National Unemployment Clock is the first of its kind in Canada, and it's a symbol of the challenges that we as Canadians face. The clock is digital. It increases every 40.19 seconds, which is how often a Canadian loses his or her job. The unemployment clock will travel across Canada to all cities and towns, bring Canadians together for this campaign. And for those interested, you can find out more information by going to www.keepjobsincanada.ca. In French, it's www.sauvonsnosemplois.ca. The National Unemployment Clock is mounted on a truck, and after today's unveiling, it will make its first official appearance at the TELUS AGM in Ottawa tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. So unemployment is a huge issue in this country, as I don't have to remind everyone. We want to bring Canadians together and send a strong message to our government and large organizations like TELUS that we want to keep jobs in Canada. We're hoping that members of the public will come out to support us and to see the National Unemployment Clock at this event. Unemployment affects us all, as I've said before, and it's important for Canadians to know that we're in this together and that this clock is that symbol. So, as I said, it will travel from Ottawa, making stops across the country, where it will reach Vancouver in 1 month. And it will be permanently held in a public venue. We will provide information on the route of the National Unemployment Clock to you today. Right now, it's my honor and my pleasure to introduce John Carpenter, VP of the TWU.
Thanks, Diane. I'm excited to be here in Ottawa today, unveiling the National Unemployment Clock. The TWU is supporting this campaign, and I'm very proud of that fact. The unemployment in Canada is at a 7-year high, and we have to do something about that as Canadians. We've all been touched by it. I don't think there's a Canadian out there that you don't speak to that hasn't been touched or has a personal story that they can tell you about someone in their family or themselves who have lost their job with this high unemployment rate that we're facing right now. The National Unemployment Clock is a symbol, and a dramatic, eye-catching one at that. But at the heart of this campaign are the people, Canadians like you and like me, people that are struggling in this economy to put a roof over their heads and to supply food for their families and be able to clothe their children and send them to school. We need to focus on finding solutions to the growing unemployment in this country, and we believe that one of the key elements is keeping jobs in Canada. Large organizations in industries such as telecommunications, forestry, manufacturing, retailing, they're offshoring jobs that could be and should be filled by Canadian people like you and like me. These organizations are taking Canadian jobs, and we have to send them a message, a very strong message, that no more. These jobs have to stay in Canada. These organizations are taking these jobs and creating them overseas to make bigger profits, but at what cost to Canadians, to real people who want to work and deserve to work and bring home paychecks so they can support their families. When does enough become enough? How much profit do they need to make, and at what cost to us as Canadians? Let me be clear. We want organizations like TELUS to be profitable. We also want them to start thinking about the people of Canada and what it means as they continue to take jobs away from Canadians and ship them overseas. TELUS has a responsibility to give back to the communities where it reaps its profits, and so do all of those other big corporations. Organizations such as Bell and Primus are bringing jobs back to Canada. We want to know why TELUS is still shipping jobs overseas and why they're continuing to grow offshore. The National Unemployment Clock campaign is about bringing Canadians together to send a strong message to organizations like TELUS and to our government. Enough is enough, and we want you to keep our jobs in Canada. I thank you very much, and at this time I'll hand it over to Peter Julian.